Hello class, welcome to 6.4 review. So let's go ahead and get started for 6.4. So this one's the triangle inequality theorem. So it says list the angles that satisfy the stated condition. So which angles are greater than angle 3? Remember, the triangle inequality theorem states that if I have a triangle and I have an exterior angle, then that exterior angle is always going to be greater than the remote interior angles. The remote interior angles are the ones that are farthest away from that exterior angle. Okay, so that means 4 is going to be bigger than 2 and 3. All right, so that's what it says. So how do we apply it? So which angles are greater than angle 3? So angle 3, notice, is an interior angle. So so if I use this triangle as an example, then angle 7 is an exterior angle to that. And so angle 7 must be greater than angle 3, right? So I can use that as my example. And notice that there's also another exterior angle that I can use here, 4. 4 is an exterior angle to 3 as well. And remember that 3 is a remote interior angle to 4 because 3 is far away from 4. So I can use that as well. So in other words, these two angles, angle 4 and angle 7, are greater than angle 3. Now let's look at part B. Which measures are less than angle 1? So remote interior angles I'm going to do in red. Exterior angles I'm going to circle in black. So if I'm looking for less, then I'm looking for I'm looking for exterior angles, right? Rather, I'm looking for interior angles. Remote interior angles, sorry, because we want them to be less than 1, right? And so I'm not going to circle 1 in red. I'm actually going to circle this in black because I want this to be an exterior angle, because exterior angles are bigger than remote interiors. Okay, so if I focus on this triangle right here, well, then 1 is an exterior angle to that triangle, right? And so 1 has to be an exterior angle to these two remote interiors. These are the ones that are farthest away from angle 1, right? And they're inside the triangle. So it's got to be 5 and 6. 5 and 6 have to be less than angle 1. All right, so for number 2, we're going to use this diagram. So which measures are greater than angle 1? So since we're looking for greater than, that means we're looking for exterior angles. That means that we're going to say that 1 is an interior angle so that we can find ones that are exterior to that. So let's look at this triangle right here. If I look at that, what is exterior to that but far away from it? Okay, so in this case, the only option that we have is angle 7. We cannot do 4 because 4 is right next to it. And there are no other exterior angles for this black triangle except for 7 and 4. And so 7 is got to be the one because it's the one that's farthest away. All right, so angle 7 is an exterior angle and therefore it's greater than its remote interior angle 1. Measures are less than angle 7. Okay, so we want it to be less than angle 7. That means that we're looking for remote interiors. 7 is an exterior angle. What are my remote interiors to 7? 1 and 3. If I consider this triangle, if I consider this triangle, then 5 would also be part of the remote interior, right? Because it would be a combination of 3 and 5 as well as 6. Okay, 3 and 5 and then 6 make remote interior angles. And so we got these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 angles are smaller than 1, in addition to the combination of 3 and 5. All right, so we got angle 1, angle 3. I don't need the M's. I don't know why I put M's there, so I'm sorry, but apologize for that. Angle 5. Angle 6, and then the combination of 3 and 5. What's the combination of 3 and 5? Well, it's TUV, right? That's what that big angle is, TUV. Angle TUV. Okay, all right, so let's do that. TUV. And there you go, that's my answer to number 2. Okay. All right, so let's look at number 3. So use the diagram in number 1 and list the angles that satisfy the stated conditions. Okay, so angles that are greater than angle 2. So we got one. We're going to use this picture one more time. Which angles are greater than angle 2? That means that you're looking for exterior angles, ones that are bigger than angle 2. So angle 2 is a remote interior angle to what? It's a remote interior angle to the exterior angle 4. It's not, 7 is not an exterior to 2 because it's next to it. So the only angle that is really greater than 2 is going to be, that is guaranteed to be greater, is angle 4. Okay. Now this does not mean that the other angles aren't greater than angle 2, but it just means that 4 is guaranteed to be greater, like always in this case. Okay. All right, so that takes care of that. So let's look at the next one. Problem set number 2. List the angles of the triangle and the sides from smallest to largest. All right, so this is comparing inequalities for one triangle. So look at the smallest side. The smallest side is 23.7, which is RS, right? Now, because that is the smallest side, that means that the angle opposite of that, angle T, has to be the smallest angle. Okay. Okay, so let me write angle T here. That has to be the smallest. Now, the next smallest side is this side, TS, the 35 centimeter one. And so if I go opposite of that, that's angle R. All right, and then the biggest is, of course, TR, and the opposite of that is S. So that means S has to be the biggest. All right, so we're going to say angle S all right, it's taking a while here. Okay, so we got angle S and then TR. All right, that takes care of that one. List the angles, same thing. So the angles, so we can see that the smallest angle is 40 degrees. There should be a T here. I don't know. I should say SRT, so that's a typo there. So it's angle T. And then opposite of that is SR, which is on the smallest side. Remember, it's got to be opposite of the smallest. Whatever is opposite of the angle, that's the either the smallest or the biggest, depending on how big the angle is. Now 60 is the next smallest, so that means that ST has to be the next smallest side. And then 80 is the largest, of course. So let me put angle R and angle S, and so that means RT has to be the biggest. All right, that's it. Really easy. Now this one, we don't know which one's the biggest angle because we need to find angle R, right? So let's find angle R. Remember that the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So 180 minus 60 minus 54. So that's 120 minus 54. That's 66 degrees. Okay, so now we know what it is. Now we can compare. So 54 is the smallest, so that means SR is the smallest. So angle T is the smallest, SR is the smallest. 60 is the second smallest, so the S angle. And then RT is the second smallest, shortest side. The largest side is angle R, and so the biggest side is ST. All right, that's it. Same thing here. So, but this is going to be doing the sides instead. So 12 is the smallest, so that means angle Q is the smallest angle. You said PR is the smallest side. 18 is the second smallest side, so angle P is the second smallest angle. And then we got angle R as the biggest and PQ as the biggest side. Let's see, RQ was the second shortest, and then PQ was the longest. All right, so hopefully that made sense. You just look at the opposite angle side pairs. Okay, problem set number 3. Use a triangle. Use a diagram on the previous page to determine which angle has the greater measure. Okay, so we're looking at this one right here. Which angle has the greater measure? So we're going to compare 2, 4, and 6. Okay. So 2, 4, and 6. So this example is a review of problem sets 1 and 2. So there's a combination of exterior angles, but there's also others. So it's basically a review problem set, but it looks harder because there's more triangles. Okay, so angle 2, 4, and 6. So 2 is an exterior angle. 4 and 6 are remote interiors. So therefore, 2 has to be the biggest, right? Because according to the triangle inequality theorem. So angle 2 is the largest. I'm going to circle that. Angle 3, 11, and 12. 3, 11, so 3 is an exterior angle to 11 and 12, right? And 11 and 12 are remotes. So angle 3 is the largest. 8, 10, and 11. So that's an exterior angle to 10 and 11, which are remote interiors. So angle 8 is the biggest. It's pretty easy if you think about it that way. All right, number 2, use the figure to determine which of the given angles is the greatest. ABD or BDA. So ABD or BDA. So we're comparing this angle with this angle. Okay. All right, so ABD is that angle. BDA is that angle. So let's compare. What is opposite of the black angle? Well, that's 13. What is opposite of the red angle? That's 3, right? And therefore, since 13 is bigger than 3, that means that ABD has to be the biggest. Okay, so this has to be the biggest. Sorry, I circled it incorrect. That's there. All right, now let's look at BFD and BDF. BFD, that's this black angle. The opposite of that is the 12 side. BDF, that's this red angle here. The opposite of that is 15. 15 is bigger than 12, so BDF has to be the bigger angle. All right, that's how you do it. BCF, and then BD versus CFB, CFB. All right, opposite of that is 14. Opposite of that is 15. 15 is bigger than 14, so that means it's got to be BCF, the black one. All right, and then one more for that. DBF. DBF, the opposite of that is 5. Compare that with BFD. BFD, the opposite of that is 12. 12 is bigger than 5, so this is bigger. All right, hopefully that made sense. Number 3, use the figure to determine which of the sides is the longest. Kind of similar to what we did before. So, but this time we're looking at sides. So SM, compare that to MR. MR. So the angle opposite to MR is this angle. Okay. Is this angle. And the angle opposite to SM is that angle. So we got to compare 60 versus question mark. How do I get that question mark right there? Well, these two angles add up to 180 because they're a linear pair. So that means this has to be 70 degrees. 70 plus 110 is 180. 70 is bigger than 60, so that means the red dominates. MR is the bigger one. Okay. Let me just put 70 here just so I won't forget what that is if we need it in the future. All right, RQ versus PQ. What's the opposite of PQ? Opposite of PQ is 85. The opposite of RQ is 30. 85 is bigger than 30. So that means that the red dominates because the 85 is opposite of the red. So we got PQ. All right. RP versus MP. MP is this one right here. All right, so what's opposite of RP? It's 70. What's opposite of PM? It's this angle right here, which we are trying to find. We don't know what that angle is yet, but we can find it. Remember that these form a linear pair, the 60, the red angle, and the 85. So we can add this up. 60 plus 85 is 145. Subtract that from 180 and you get 35 degrees. So that angle is 35, which means that so this is 35. And if that's 35, well, that's smaller than 70, so the black dominates. Okay, so that means the PR. All right, so that's how we do that one. That one, so that one we said was 35. RM and RQ. So RM, what's the opposite of that? Versus RQ. Where's RQ? Oh, that's a typo. That should say RS, guys. RS. Okay, so I apologize for that. So RS, not RQ. Okay, so the opposite of RS is unknown angle there. And then the opposite of RM is 70. Okay, how do we get this unknown angle? Well, we subtract from 180, the 70 plus 60. So 180 minus 70 plus 60. 70 plus 60 is 130. Subtract that from 180, you get 50. So 50 degrees. All right, so 70 is bigger than 50. So that means RM is bigger than RS. So the black one here dominates. Okay, and that's how you do that. Hope you guys found this useful, and as usual, I'll see you in the next one.